South Africa's wine industry is the 9th largest in the world. It employs 300,000 workers, while its vineyards stretch over 140,000 hectares. 95% of the wine is produced in the Cape, and in 2004, a biodiversity and wine initiative was set up to work with these vineyard owners to minimize threats to the precious Cape environments.
Our practices in the vineyards have given us biodiversity championship status, and this is also a set of rules that we have to adhere to in our practices that we do in the vineyards.
Pierre has implemented a range of practices to help Merwida become more sustainable and less costly to run.
And one of the first is to use water very sparingly. We have probes in the vineyards all over to see what the water level is in the ground, and then we don't over-irrigate, we just irrigate enough in summer. And we also save power to pump at night times to save on evaporation. Other things we have changes that we leave the middle of the rows to be naturally growing, and the grass have now started to replant themselves. By leaving the grasses on the soil, we don't have to spray so much pesticides, and the natural coverage of the grasses prevent the other weeds from coming up.
Piet Smith manages the farm for Pierre. He has seen the impact of the changes.
After Pierre took the step by looking more into the environment, I can see on the farm changes, positive changes. Everywhere you drive on a farm, you see these animals like deer and other wild animals moving on the farm.
What do the workers think?
You want to see results from what you do, and when you see the results, you actually feel nice inside.
Merwida Farm has achieved fair trade status.
If your well-being of your workers is important to you, I would definitely advise you to try and do fair trade, because you will receive benefit from fair trade with the premiums that will come back to your farming entity, and this money can be used by your workers for themselves.
Not only has Merwida adopted greener farm techniques, Pierre has saved a wetland.
When we decided 8 years ago that we're going to conserve the wetland area, we started implementing a management plan. And the first plan was to cut down the alien plants, the invasive plants, which is Wattle, Port Jackson, and blue gum trees. And recently we had a study done. We found a lot of indigenous species in the wetland. Some of them are very endangered. They're actually on the red list for being totally extinct in South Africa. And there's 6 of these plants in the wetland. So we've seen now that these plants have actually come back into the wetland, and they're starting to grow in bigger areas.
Yes, our farm is putting up a lot of effort into reducing the carbon footprint by planting indigenous trees and taking out the alien trees. In the wetlands, there you can clearly see the change.
Conserving the wetland is very important because we're sitting around developed areas, and the biggest threat that we have to the area is fires. The actual wetland nature or plants that grow here is only supposed to burn every 8 to 10 years.
Having run for 10 years, the Biodiversity and Wine Initiative has seen 1/3 of the wine industry adopt environmental plans. It's helping deliver South Africa's national biodiversity strategy and action plan, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. At Merwida, conservation has not just been good for the environment, it's been good for the wine.
The Merwida Sauvignon Blanc 2015 and 2016 has been in the top 10 Sauvignon Blancs of South Africa. My voice goes out to other farmers in the world. If you still have undeveloped areas and you feel that it's important, much rather preserve these areas than replant them or use them for agriculture, because we have to look after our natural areas that we still have, because we can't make them again.